What was the largest ransom ever paid? Plus, how identical twins got away with murder and the planet in our solar system that was predicted rather than discovered. 1. A group of New Zealanders built a sand island near Coromandel, a town on the North Island, to circumvent the local New Year's Eve drinking ban. Despite being within New Zealand waters, they claimed to be in international waters and thus exempt from the ban. Impressed by their ingenuity, the police chose not to punish them and allowed them to continue drinking. 2. Each year, an estimated 27.7 million tons of sand from Africa's Sahara Desert is carried by wind to the Amazon rainforest. This sand contains around 22,000 tons of phosphorus, which provides essential nutrients for plant proteins and growth. Therefore, Africa's Sahara Desert is considered vital to the existence and sustenance of the Amazon rainforest. 3. Sand tiger sharks eat their own siblings in the womb, a phenomenon known as intrauterine cannibalism. Researchers have suggested that this is part of a struggle where babies of different fathers compete to be born with the largest of the littermates eating all but one of its siblings. The two survivors tend to be from the same father. 4. Healthy hearts tend to have a more jagged EKG reading, while unhealthy hearts often show a smoother pattern. This reflects the resilience of healthy hearts to shocks and adjustments, and the inflexibility of less healthy hearts. 5. Benjamin Franklin borrowed a rare book from a political rival, which led the rival to become friendlier. This inspired the Benjamin Franklin effect. Someone who does you a favor is more likely to do another favor for you than someone you have helped. 6. In 2019, over 6,200 people donated blood and joined the stem cell register for Oscar Saxelby Lee, a 5-year-old boy from England battling leukemia. This remarkable response not only enabled Oscar to receive a life-saving transplant, but also resulted in 6 other patients finding suitable matches. 7. Around 4.5 billion people, or 60% of the global population, lack access to a toilet at home or have inadequate sanitation facilities to properly manage human waste, according to UNICEF in 2019. 8. A grapheme is a letter or group of letters that serve as the smallest unit in a written language. For example, in the word though, the letters OUGH is a grapheme, meaning that it serves for the sound of O. 9. Adhara Perez Sanchez is an 11-year-old Mexican girl who boasts an IQ of 162, which is higher than Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking. She's achieved a master's degree, finished elementary school at 5, and completed high school at the age of 6. 10. The term computer was first used in 1613 to label a person who performed calculations. The definition stuck until 1822, when English mathematician and inventor Charles Babbage introduced the first concept of a computer, which he called the difference engine, followed by a more general-purpose machine called the analytical engine. 11. Ed Sheeran's Divide Tour is currently the highest-grossing music tour in history. Ed brought in over $3 million per show over 255 events for a total of $776.2 million, according to 1:37 p.m. That could soon be surpassed by Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. 12. A man was killed at a nightclub in February 2011, allegedly by a man who is an identical twin. While various witnesses reported seeing the shooter named Orlando, the case had to be dropped because police couldn't determine which brother had actually committed the crime. 13. A Scottish woman named Joy Milne can smell Parkinson's disease. Researchers gave her 12 t-shirts to smell, and she correctly identified the 6 worn by people with Parkinson's. She also detected the disease in someone from the control group who was diagnosed 8 months later. However, she has been advised not to inform individuals she smells with the disease in the community. 14. The UK's Royal Air Force became a major customer of ballpoint pens after their invention due to the limitations of fountain pens at high altitudes, and while writing on notepads against a wall. The RAF ordered 30,000 of them despite the high cost of $150 per pen in today's currency. 15. The largest ransom ever paid was valued at approximately $1.5 billion today. It was given by the Incas to Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro in the 1530s. The Incas offered a haul full of gold and silver for the safe return of their last emperor Atahualpa, who was considered divine by his people. Pizarro had Atahualpa executed despite the ransom being paid. 16. University College London researchers say that regularly napping for less than half an hour can delay aging of the brain by between 3 and 6 years. That's a win for those of us who love a nana nap. 17. Sloths move slowly because they have an extremely low metabolic rate, which enables them to save energy. They travel an average of just 37 meters per day, according to the WWF, but can travel about 3 times faster in the water. 18. Public sex became legal in Mexico's Guadalajara in 2018 to allow police to prioritize more serious crimes and to prevent police from extorting young couples caught in the act. There are also parks in Denmark and the Netherlands where public sex is allowed, although there are some rules and participants are required to clean up after themselves. 19. The ideal amount of time for traffic lights to remain red is between 60 seconds and 90 seconds, according to America's National Association of City Transportation Officials. 20. The standard thread angle for industrial screws is 60 degrees, denoted by the letter M. This angle offers a balance between holding power and ease of installation. However, some countries use a smaller angle to reduce steel costs, resulting in inferior screws that may lead to liability claims for installers. 21. Babies normally say dad's name before they say mum, because for the first year or so of their life, they identify as still being fused with their mother, just as they were in the womb. So they see their dad as the first real separation of themselves. 22. Women get erections too. The clitoris is filled with spongy erectile tissue just like a male's genitals, so it expands from blood flow when aroused. 23. The term wedlock stems from Nordic for wed, which means to pledge, and lack, which means action. 24. The masseter is the strongest muscle in the human body relative to its weight. The muscle in our jaw allows us to close our teeth with a force as great as 91 kilograms on the molars. 25. Cows have best friends. They have the capacity to experience emotions and empathy and can become stressed when separated from their friends. 26. The Wolf of Wall Street movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio holds the Guinness World Record for the number of times the F word is used. It's used 506 times for an average of 2.8 times per minute. 27. A polar bear's claws are more than 5 centimeters in length, which allow them to grip to the ice and can run at speeds of up to 40 kilometers per hour, 25 miles per hour, across it. When crossing frozen areas, they may also slide in order to spread their weight evenly to avoid falling through. 28. In 1 hour of reading a book, the human eye makes nearly 10,000 coordinated movements, according to the Library of Congress. 29. The span from a person's anus to the base of their genitals is known as the anogenital distance, or AGD. AGD is typically longer in men with a high sperm count, while for women, a short ADG has been associated with a higher likelihood of endometriosis. 30. Commander Lionel Buster's Crabbe was the frogman that inspired Ian Fleming's James Bond character. Crabbe was Fleming's favorite spy and was known for his love of alcohol, women, and risk-taking nature. Crabbe's controversial death occurred during an unauthorized dive beneath a Russian warship, and his body was found 12 months later with a missing face and hands, which added intrigue to his story. 31. Speaking of Buster Crabbe, the James Bond character of Miss Moneypenny, the secretary to the chief of MI6 in the series, was actually based on his aunt named Kitty Jarvis, who worked at the intelligence services with Fleming. 32. Zebras have unique stripe arrangements, while cats and dogs have unique whisker patterns. 33. In space, tears don't flow down an astronaut's face due to the absence of gravity. The tears instead form into small balls and cause discomfort by stinging the astronaut's eyes. 34. The world record for most orgasms in an hour for a male is 16, equating to 1 every 3 minutes, 45 seconds. The record for a female is 134, or 1 every 27 seconds. 35. Glow-in-the-dark objects contain chemicals that absorb light energy and gradually release it in the dark, which creates the glow. This process is known as luminescence or phosphorescence and requires exposure to light for the objects to emit light in the dark. 36. Neptune was predicted, not discovered. Astronomers observed irregularities in Uranus's orbit that couldn't be explained by Newton's laws. They concluded that another planet's gravitational forces were at play, and Neptune was later confirmed to be that planet. 37. The typical man produces between 200 and 300 million sperm per day, equating to approximately 1,500 per second. This process is called spermatogenesis. 38. Aquilon refers to the northeast wind and is named after the Roman god of the same name. It is also sometimes used to refer to true north or the notion that someone has a good inner compass. 39. 29 people crammed into a Mini Cooper on the 5th of September 2014, setting a new Guinness World Record for how many people could fit in the vehicle. 40. The Dunbar number suggests a limit to the number of close relationships a person can maintain and is typically cited as 150 people. However, a person's inner circle, comprising family and close friends, is usually around 20 people. We don't have the computational capacity to manage relationships effectively beyond that number. 41. According to the first law of thermodynamics, energy cannot be created or destroyed, but only converted from one form to another. This principle applies to power generation and various natural processes, such as metabolism, where energy is derived from the conversion of food to sustain life. 42. A prehistoric penguin known as the Kairuku was 4 feet 2 inches tall, which is a full foot taller than today's largest penguin, the emperor penguin. It was more slender than most other penguins, and its name literally translates to diver who returns with food. 43. In 1961, a Russian doctor wintering at a base in Antarctica was forced to operate on himself to remove his own appendix. With no outside help possible, Leonid Rogozov used local anesthetic, a mirror, and improvised medical instruments to remove his intestines and cut out the organ. The operation was a success, and he was back on duty within 2 weeks. 44. The Grand Mosque of Bobo Dioulasso of West African country Burkina Faso was constructed entirely from mud and clay and was named after the city's 2 ethnic groups, Bobo and Dioula. 45. The largest sand island in the world is Fraser Island, located off the coast of Queensland in Australia, and spans 122 kilometers or 75 miles long. 46. You might have seen metallic plates on the outside walls of older buildings. These are known as anchor plates, which are used for structural reinforcement. The plate is actually connected to the opposite wall by a steel rod that runs through the inside of the building and prevents the 2 walls from spreading apart. 47. The world's largest volcano is Mauna Loa, located in the south-central part of Hawaii. It sits 4,169 meters above sea level, and its dome is 120 kilometers long. In fact, its name literally translates to Long Mountain. 48. 50% of Americans regularly watch television with subtitles, according to a study by Preply, including 70% of members of Gen Z, with older generations considered least likely to use subtitles. 72% of subtitle users say they use it because of muddled audio, and 61% say it's because they struggle to understand the accents being spoken. 49. The oldest living tree is located in the White Mountains of California in the United States. Named Methuselah, it is over 4,800 years old, meaning that it was alive when the Egyptians built their pyramids. Its exact location is kept under wraps to protect it from harm. 50. Children's behavior can be up to 800% worse when their mother is present, according to a study by the University of Washington. It's actually a sign of good parenting because it shows the child feels comfortable and safe with them, while they feel the need to behave in front of other people.